Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
For you to learn, like Miles Davis said, it takes a while to learn how to play like yourself. So you're gonna have to like make so many mistakes. You're gonna have to hurt so badly that you figure out a way not to hurt anymore.
I like it. Welcome to the Comedians and Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, the great Gatsby. Gatsby, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Gatsby. I'm a comedian from Africa. I would say I moved here um I moved to the state in 2021. I don't know why I had to think about that for a minute, but yeah, I moved to the state in 2021, and ever since I moved there, it's been such an incredible journey. I started doing comedy when I moved to South Africa when I was just 18 years old. I remember being at the airport, uh, and I called my brother and I told him like, I got something out there waiting for me. I don't know what it is, but I gotta find it. And at the time, I was living with my mom, my dad, my grandmother, my three brothers and three sisters. We're living in this three-bedroom apartment. We had like, we had two bathrooms and and I would share like the two bedrooms with my brothers and sisters. So my brothers, we all shared like one room. My sister shared one room, and we shared everything. I mean everything from boxes to shirt to pants, everything. We shared everything. We weren't poor, we weren't rich, but I knew there was more to life than all of that. Yeah, like and I was just like somebody like I wouldn't even do what I did then. I was just young. I had age on my side. And
So
I
then
was
I
just
have
not
to I have to ask, when did you read The Great Gatsby at first?
I read, oh, it's a good question. So I read the Great Gatsby. I never read the book actually. I didn't read the book, but I watched the movie. I don't know if that counts. I watched the movie.
I haven't watched the movie, but I have read the book, and I was
The
just curious
movies.
does that story motivated you to come to the United States? Because for me, it wouldn't, but perhaps it
N-
was different for you.
No, no, no. What happened was I wanted to do like stand-up comedy when I finally moved to South Africa, and I realized that I wanted to do comedy, and I called like I didn't know how to go. I didn't know what an open mic is, nothing like that. I just called like a comedy club in South Africa, and I just called them, and I was like, "Oh, do you have like I just want to do stand-up comedy. Do you have like a spot for me?" And they're like, "Oh, we can put you on an open mic." And they're like, "Oh, what's your stage name?" And I didn't even I didn't even think the whole thing through. So I was
There you
like,
go.
oh, I just watched The Great Gatsby. So I just went, Gatsby.
There it is.
And they just like, okay, they just put my name down. And that's how I started using the stage name Gatsby. And when I moved here, I knew it wouldn't fly here because like, but I reached out to like some people here when I moved to the States. And I moved that and I reached out to this guy's name was Mike something. I can't remember his name, but he runs like a production company here. And he's like, oh, I love you said I would like you to go on tour with me. And I was like, oh, he was like, so what's your stage name? I was like, Gatsby. But I was like, oh, Gabriel Day. And he was like, but the video you sent to me that I watched says your name is Gatsby. Why you know using that? I'm like, I don't think he's gonna fly in the state. And he was like, oh, you gotta keep it. He's gonna fly out here. It's gonna be great. I later found out the guy's a cokehead. Shouldn't have listened to him.
Well, I mean, the story matches. So, all right. So then, Gatsby, are you ready to get started?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see the 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. All right. So the whole point of the podcast is
Yeah.
to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So
All
I
right.
define the comic as any person telling funny jokes
All
versus the
right.
comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So
All right.
Gatsby, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
Um, I mean, that's a good point. Like, I think when people say they're comic and when somebody else is say I'm a comedian, I think they're basically saying the same thing. Like, I feel like this is how it works. I always tell people like, the moment you go on that stage, you are already funny. There's a superpower on that stage that just makes you really funny. And I think like we definitely have like people that inspire us. It's like musicians too, like Rick James, like they it, I was reading his autobiography recently. I've read close to like more than 500 autobiographies in my life, and his autobiography is like probably the best. Every page you turn, he was just talking about sex, drugs. Like really interesting. And I'm not saying that's what makes a book interesting, but he just told really funny stories, like really funny stories. And he was talking about how he got the style from Mick Jagger, from all of these people, James Brown. Like, it's the same thing with comics. We watch like people that we adore and worship. Like I go on stage just sometimes I say certain jokes and I use like certain Chris Rock demeanor or like, all of those things that I've seen him do, like, or phrase a joke like Bill Maher. I like Bill Maher, I like the whole Bill Maher. Not this crazy one we're getting now. Yeah. Bill Maher is funny. It's still
The
funny,
old
but
Bill Maher.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of it's like really I think I don't like the fact that he did an interview with Trump. I think that was just like that would compromise it to some extent because now he says it himself. He says he's like a ratings whore. Like he like ratings. Of course, like that would like compromise it to some extent. Like you have to be neutral. Like the reason I love Bill Maher, he knows how to like go after the left. He knows how to go after the right. He knows how to make jokes about liberals and make jokes about conservative. That's why I really like him. I like him. It's not like most of these liberal comedians. I'm a liberal comedian. I wouldn't say I'm a liberal comedian, but I like to go after both sides. Because what's the point of going after one side? It's too easy. It doesn't make any sense. You're a comedian, you're not a comedian for one side. That's like saying I'm very good at telling jokes to black people. That you're not a
It's
comedian.
pretty.
Yeah, you should be able to go
Well,
after
would that
both
be
sides.
so? That's a good point. Would that be a comic if you've kind of put yourself in a box like that? Would you define that more as a comic versus a comedian?
Well, I would just say like you just know how to like there's this quote that Chris Rock said you have to know how to make arguments for both sides,
Of
even against
course.
yourself, and you have to be really good at it. So what comedians do, we just basically we are reporters, we're like journalists. We're just making argument like this is what I see, but I'm gleaning certain information that you are missing. But this is like very different. This is like a new information I that you missed. But the moment I say it out loud, you're like, oh, I see it now. How did I miss that? That's our job. And you have to, be able to like argue for both sides. So you can be, that's why I said I don't really like the fact that, Bill Maher did an interview with Trump because it's like, honestly, it's like doing an interview with Hitler. Like, yeah, you would be biased. It's quite different now. Like, he still goes after him, but there are like certain issues it doesn't go after as much as he should because he obviously will still want to keep that relationship with Trump, you know. So
Maybe.
there's also that. So yeah, like I really I like him. I like his old stuff. Like I like his stuff. I'm Swiss, which he released when he got fired after making that 9/11 joke. That was really good. You could tell like he was like sad, and the good shit comes from sadness, like depression. And I like some of his stuff that the one he did going after like during I can't remember the name, but it was like it was talking about George Bush and all that. Like that's the thing. He knew how to go after the left and the right. So to answer your question, I think the difference between a comic and a comedian is that a comic would go on stage and do his thing. That's the comic. A comedian is a person that on and off stage, they know how to report. They know how to say these things. They know how to go after both sides. That's the difference. That's what makes us make maybe me or different from the other comedians. I don't know. Like you just know how to do have to go after both sides. You can't just be one. You can't be, oh, I'm good at like being telling jokes to white people or good at telling jokes to black people. You have to be able to be you have to be an all-rounder. And everybody's evolving and still learning. I also think like, Bill Maher, I'm sure it's also evolving. Like maybe 4 years from now or 3 years from now, he would probably would come back to this moment like, oh, maybe I made a mistake, maybe not.
All right. Well, so then how about punching up versus punching down? So, where do comics versus comedians subscribe to this? And let me put in some historical context.
Yeah.
Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the
Beady, beady,
court
beady, beady.
jester?
Come again. Say that again.
Did a jealous medieval prince become the
Yeah.
first comedian by killing the court jester?
I'm not really familiar with that story, but I just I think punching them. I don't really like comics that do that. Like, you gotta like it's just like easy. It's like telling easy jokes. Like, you've got to find a way to figure out what you're good at. That's what I always tell like comics. You gotta figure out like what you're really good at. Like, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. You're gonna like, like I've done like jokes in the past that I'm not even proud of. I remember one time I was at this open mic and this was like long time ago, and there was this comedian. He was really dark skinned, like really dark. Like you could literally, like if we're on Zoom call right now, you won't even be able to see his face. It was very dark. He went on stage before me, but I was really scared already before I went on stage. And I knew if I'd say something about his complexion, people would laugh. And I went there and did it. And I felt horrible afterwards. And I think 3 weeks later, I told him, like, I'm really sorry I said that joke. I shouldn't have said that. That was just like really. And he was like, I really appreciate you saying that. Like, you don't know, you have no idea what I've been through. Like, people make fun of my skin color all the time. And, like, I don't like people that like Chappelle. Chappelle does like a lot of transphobia jokes. Like, he's one of the greats. He's really good. But I feel like comics tend to do this thing where if something is working for them, they'll keep doing it. They'll keep doing it. Doesn't matter what it is. So that's what Chappelle's doing. I don't really think he likes those trans jokes. But I
That's
feel like,
hilarious. He's like,
yeah,
hey, it
I feel
works, so
like
I got to do it.
it works. I gotta keep doing it. Some people like this shit. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can curse or not.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Some
I
people
do
like
see
this
that.
stuff.
I do see that. I could
Yeah,
see he's kind of
yeah.
married to
So
it a little
yeah,
bit.
that's what I feel like. Like so, yeah. Some people like this stuff. Like it's just like, in my opinion, I call it lazy writing.
Hmm.
Lazy writing. Yeah, punching down is lazy writing. I don't know if that answer your question or
Oh,
not.
definitely, if that's how you see it. Absolutely. So, cultural translation of comedy. So, how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
Oh, that's so easy. Like, first of all, I'm from Nigeria, so like, there's like a lot of jokes that wouldn't translate in Nigeria because Nigeria is like the population of Nigeria is like 200 million people right now with bad census count. And so let's say we're about maybe 200, 250 million people. That's why we're taking over the world because we're so many. We're just like there's a lot. We're like the Chinese of Africa. So we're like everywhere. And we don't have a certain demographic for like white people. We only have black people out there. So I can't just go to Nigeria and start telling jokes that oh, I'm like, oh, do you know what white people like? Like they were like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like,
Right.
it wouldn't translate. So like, you gotta be able to like know your audience always, always, no matter where you go. Like, every time I do a show, I look at the audience. That's the first thing I go to. Like sometimes I'll go to the Laugh Factory. Every time I go to show, I go to the green room. I go upstairs. I look at everybody in the audience, white, black. I look at the race, the sex. Sometimes I try. Your job as a comedian, you are basically a mentalist. Your job is to like glean as many information as you can. Like I have a joke that it would only work if there's a couple there. It will only work if there's a gay person there. Yeah, I have a joke that it's only work if people are in a relationship. Like you have to be a mentalist. So like sometimes it's not even like about cultural thing. Like you have to be able to like read your audience, like look through the whole place where you like, this is how a comedian is a mentalist. You are just basically coming up with ideas on stage, but you tricking people to thinking you just came up with the idea on the spot, but you thought about this idea 2 months ago
Yeah.
and you worked on it for so long, but you're making them think, oh, he just thought about his idea. No, he didn't. But that
Yeah.
wouldn't work if you didn't like look at the audience, look at the people in the crowd. So that's the thing I like about being a comedian is people like sometimes I'll tell people I'm a comedian, they're like, tell me a joke. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like the same job. I'm not a stripper. Like if I'm a stripper, yeah, I'll strip for you right away. But I'm a comedian. I have like so many things that goes into place for my joke to actually
Well,
work.
that's how I, if someone does that, I just start undressing. I'll be like, all right, what are you doing? I'm like, you want to see something funny? I was going to show you something funny other than that.
Yeah, so
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So it doesn't
All right.
really work that way. Yeah.
So, how does the silence when your joke doesn't land hurt?
Oh,
Physically, emotionally, morally, or spiritually?
well, when I first started, I would drive and I would play music and I would just replay the old thing in my head and I would think about it and I would like, Jesus, that really hurt. That really hurt. And I would think about all the things I could have done differently. And surprisingly, the next time I go on stage, I always do well because I'm hard on myself. But now, this is the difference between a pro and somebody who's just starting. Now I know if I bomb a stage, the only person that knows that I bombed is me. The only time the audience would know is when you give it away. They don't really know when you actually bombed it.
Hmm.
So what a pro would do is just not bring it up, not talk about it, but find a way to bring the audience back, like get back the audience, like, to like the show back in a way that, even though they're not sure, you wouldn't let them know. You don't bring it up. You just continue your joke. You just keep on going. Like the only person that knows is you. So once you
Or,
give it away, they would know and then they lose interest. But don't lose your audience by like keeping quiet or just getting discouraged. And the other thing is you have to have like a personality on stage, like, in the sense that let me explain to you. When I go on stage, my name is Adiola Gabriel Demoagun, but when I go on stage, I'm Gatsby. I'm two different people. So when the joke doesn't work, Gatsby is getting hurt. I'm not getting hurt. I don't care because
right.
I'm just two different people. So you have to learn that I'm not the one that's getting hurt. I'm not the one that's bonded. It's that guy. So it's just two different people, and that person is also gonna be acting differently anyways. Off stage, I'm very very cool and calm, but on stage I'm just a different person that I don't even know who the person is, just somebody else taking over. So you gotta have to find a way to like separate yourself. But all of this thing takes time for you to learn. Like Miles Davis said, it takes a while to learn how to play like yourself. So you're gonna have to like make so many mistakes. You're gonna have to hurt so badly that you figure out a way not to hurt anymore.
I like it. All
Yeah,
right, so very important question. Advertising and self-promotion. Who
yeah.
advertises themselves more? The comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast and get the message out today. See you soon.
Um, I mean, right now it's comics. Yeah, there's so many um comedians on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and it's really helping. Like, it's great. So I don't know, maybe because I have like a lot of comedians that I follow, maybe that's why. But I haven't honestly come across a lot of magicians. Maybe I just start doing that. And I haven't come across a lot of comedians and watching comedians reels on TikTok or Instagram. And but also I'm hardly on social media. I'm not a social media guy. I think it's very kind of really distracting. Yeah. And also I really don't have the time. Like so many projects going on. I really literally I don't have the time to go on TikTok or scroll through other people's pages to find out. But I love magic. I love magic a lot. I also think magicians and comedians, they also have the same kind of like technique in delivering um their scam because they're both con artists. Comedians and magician. And like I said, like a magician will go on stage and you would think he just thought of the idea. No, they actually been planning this for months. Chris Rock phrased it the best. He said comedians are just verbal magicians, and that's the truth. We're just verbal magicians. We just go on there and do magic, come up with a trick that you didn't think of, and you're like, oh, this makes sense. Like we just like mess with your head and say something like, oh, that is really funny. Yeah, like when you put it that way, it is funny. So I right now I'm just like walking. I'm trying to start producing like some movies, some series, and some script. I don't have the time. I have like a show I'm producing at the Steppenwolf Theater in the summer. So like I in general I hate social media. I find it really distracting. Like imagine spending like 4 hours of your life every day on that every single day. That is
That's less than
so
what most people spend, by the way, in
that
case you didn't know.
4 hours.
Most
I don't know. Maybe
the
two
average
hours of
is
the day.
the average is 8 hours a day
Eight
in the United States.
hours.
Yeah,
Jesus
it's
Christ.
people have lost
Exactly.
their mind.
Yeah, so why would I spend 8 hours of my life on that wasting and when
Yeah,
I could use 8 hours for so many things like, get so many things done.
yeah.
I'm not trying to brag like I'm very productive, but I'm just wired like that. Like I
No,
don't
no,
have time for social media at all.
exactly, it's a waste of time. So how about censorship and offense? So who survives better in a cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
Well, I think like I was watching a video recently by Sam Morril. I think I'm not sure if I'm getting his name right, and he was just talking about if I just came across the video and he said something about do you guys think Dave Chappelle got canceled or can he be canceled? And they were like, oh yes. And he was like, well, if he got canceled, he'll be playing this. shitty comedy club, right? Not arenas. I mean, I think like dude, getting canceled right now. I mean, everything is kind of selective right now. Like, is it possible? Yeah, you can get canceled by certain people. It depends on the kind of people you're pissing off. That's the trick now. Who are you pissing off? Yeah, if you pissing off, like if Chappelle was going after like a huge group of people that they're as small as the LGBT community, it would have been canceled a long time ago. But when you piece people up, like maybe a lot of people were like with so many numbers that could affect the company's profit and sign-ups and whatever income,
Mhm.
yeah, you're gonna get canceled. Chappelle is lucky right now. He's going after like a small group of people, really small group of people, the trans community. They're not a lot of people, but if you go after like more powerful entity that yeah that would definitely affect him. I think that's the same thing that has been happening with like majority of like people that got cancer. They just went after the wrong people, and I think if you do something wrong, you should definitely be penalized for it. Like so I definitely think like anybody can get cancer. You just have to know that it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time. If Chappelle keeps doing what he's doing, it's a matter of time before he just like I think what he's doing is absolutely like wrong for sure. Like, people tend to think like, oh, an issue doesn't affect me. Like you might think like, oh, this transgender doesn't affect me. But somehow one day it's gonna come to affect you. Yeah, that's the same thing with like what's going on right now. A lot of people at first were like, oh, yeah, let's like chase a lot of immigrants out of the country, but now it's affecting everybody, including white people, and white people are the ones getting killed. Ironically, isn't that funny or weird? Like
Well,
like
I
if
mean,
we,
it's no, for sure. I mean, it's been a hijacking of the cultural mindset of the moment, right? We don't even know what's
yeah,
really going on.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So if any issue, if something's happening, you gotta just make sure like you supportive of people. Just don't say, oh, this issue doesn't affect me. If you think, oh, the gay issue doesn't affect me, one day you're gonna come one of your cousins gonna be like, I'm gay or whatever. You're gonna have a gay brother or whatever, a gay sister. If you think, the immigrant issue is not bothering me, one day you have somebody who's close to you, a friend, a boyfriend, a wife that's gonna be an immigrant, and somebody like, oh, this is affecting me now. There's somebody's gonna
yeah,
get shot. That's a friend. You know,
yeah.
like Rainy Good and Alex Patrati. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. They're just good human beings, and they just got shot for no reason. And they have friends and family that probably one of them is like a Trump supporter, probably, and they just got shot
Maybe.
for no
Yeah.
reason. So like you don't know what's gonna come back to haunt you or like hurt you. Like so,
All
you just
right.
have to like be open and be supportive of everybody, no matter what cause they are, championing. Yeah.
All right. All right. So, Gatsby, are you ready to enter the multiverse?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. Board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So you have to choose an avatar. If comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist avatar, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist avatar, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
I'll go with the colorist because that's the first one that came. Just I don't know, just feels like the one I should go for.
Okay. So then does comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
Hmm. Yeah, I think you have to be able to like tell a story in a way that makes people just picture it. People things more in pictures, not in words. So if you're just up there on stage and just talking and just talking and talking and talking and you're not painting any picture, uh at some point it gets boring. So you gotta be able to like feel vulnerable. You have to be people don't care if you're vulnerable, if you are vulnerable, they actually like it. So just go up there and just, be paint the picture as we are not all gonna be perfect painters. Some people are gonna be good at it than you, but just try as much as you can and paint the picture and so people can see the images and just, make sure it's vivid. So yeah, I think it's more paramount to paint those pictures that way.
All right. So here in the Comedians in Elevators podcast, we have a tradition where the
Yeah,
previous guest asks a question for the next guest.
yeah.
And the previous guest was David Peterson. And his question for you, Gatsby, is: do you think that comedy as an art form can survive the current wave of technology?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, AI can write jokes.
Not yet.
No, no, AI because joke again, I'll come back to what I said earlier. Comedy is verbal magic. There's so many things that you have to put in place for it to work. Yeah, can AI make punch up a joke for you? Probably. Yeah, but like AI can write jokes for you. Yeah, like there's certain element that makes a joke work that AI can't see, conceive, or anticipate. Like you can be on stage and be doing a crowd walk, and something might, mess that up for you, and AI can't help you there. You have to be able to be the
Of course.
comedian that knows that I've done this before in the past, and I knew how to make this scenario funny, you know? Yeah.
Yep.
So,
All right.
yeah,
So AI is out. AI can't do it. All right. Last
no, yeah,
question.
no.
Legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comics Tight Five survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
Um, that's interesting. I mean, right now it's really hard to like think of anybody's I can't even think of anybody's points of view right now that I would talk about right now. Like, times are different. Yeah, times are different for sure. Like, I would say more like we haven't gotten that comedian yet that, I don't know. I mean, Pryor did try like talking about police brutality and all that. But Chris Rock does a good job too, and Chappelle. And these are like all black comics. Judd Collin tries a lot too, but I can't really. That's the thing about jokes. You can't really even remember what they were talking about. Yeah, again, it's like magic. So I would say like we are most likely just gonna remember like the greats. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
We are
So,
comedians are not musicians. We just like we. It's just two different like genre of entertainment.
all
We're not
right.
musicians. We probably will remember musicians for a long period of time, long before we're gone. But I don't think there's maybe one day there will be that comedian. Maybe.
Maybe in the future. Awesome.
Maybe
Maybe
in the
it's going to
future.
be you, Gatsby. So where can everybody find you online?
I have an Instagram. I'm not really like a big social media, but every now and then if I'm doing I mostly use my Instagram to promote like shows, upcoming shows. Um I don't use it for anything beside like promoting upcoming shows, and that's it. So you can find me on Instagram. It's THE Great Gatsby Show. THA. I can't believe I'm messing that one up. THA Great Gatsby Show. You can find me on Instagram, and that's it. I am not good. I'm not really a big social. I use social media for just promote my shows, or if I have something coming up. Yeah. Yeah, I try to stay away from it. I think because I
Okay.
actually find it addictive too, because I think it's really addictive. I I like I was watching something on Bioma last night, and the guy that came on the show was talking about how addictive social media is, that people are killing themselves, committing suicide, and all that because of depression. So
Yep.
yeah, it is addictive, and I do have a very addictive personality. There's that.
That would be a
But
good
I,
reason.
I I don't think it's addictive enough for me to succumb to it. I just think it's a big waste of my time, honestly.
All right.
I would never be on it scrolling. Yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah.
Well, Gatsby, thank you so much for being my guest. And for everyone, please like and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one.
Thanks for having me.
If you're interested in too much information like in the network state or Mantipus the chicken shit, check out this video. Or is it this one right here? Well, either way. Lizard.